Hi, I'm Blake from Trektop, here to walk you through the installation of the Trektop NX on a 4-door JK Wrangler. You're going to want to allow 2 to 4 hours for this installation. And don't forget, if you run into any problems, you can always call customer service. After you've opened the box, make sure to locate your small parts kit that's going to contain your installation guide. I'm going to walk you through some of the major components on the parts list. Here we have the tailgate bar. This is going to attach your rear window to the rest of the deck. This is the top arch bow. This is only going to be on the 4-door. It will go over your rear seat. This is the number 2 bow. You'll see here that it has these side prop bows. That's how you'll be able to identify it against the number 3 bow. This will go over the front seats and help manage fabric out of the way. This is the number 3 bow. This goes on the back of the Jeep. It has our fit system to make sure your top is always installed correctly. And this is what attaches the deck to the Jeep in the rear. This is a front door rail. You'll have one for each side. You'll know this one is the left one by this molded section being in the front. This is a rear door rail. You'll know that this is the right side by the logo here, the Trektop logos, going towards the outside, and this vertical section will go in the rear. Before we get started, make sure to read through the installation guide and gather your tools so that this whole process goes smoothly. Section 1. Install rear door rails. First, unfold the rear door surround. Attach the pin into the hole in the bottom. Push it into place on top. Make sure to get the mucket out of the way to prevent water leaks here. Insert the knob into the top and tighten in place. Section 2. Attach Sunrider pivot brackets and install front door rails. To install the Sunrider pivot bracket onto the door rail, you're going to align the pivot bracket so that you're using the same direction on the tab and on the molded piece here. You'll align this front hole to this fixed hole here and this rear hole to this slot. Insert the screws and tighten. And repeat on the left side. When installing the front door rail, be careful of the seal muckets and get them out of the way so they're not folded or creased to avoid any water leaks. Section 3. Install number 2 bow pivot bracket. Install number 3 bow assembly. Unzip the sport bar cover over the middle crossbar between the front and rear doors to expose the sport bar corner plate and 2 factory installed hex head bolts. Attach the number 2 bow pivot bracket to the side sport bar plate using the 2 factory bolts. Locate the vertical tab on the number 2 bow pivot bracket and slit the sport bar cover to allow this tab to protrude from the cover. Unzip the sport bar cover over the rear crossbar to expose the sport bar corner plates and the factory installed hex head bolts on each side. Remove these bolts. Slit the sport bar cover just to the inside of each bolt location to allow the horizontal tab on each side of the number 3 bow to slip through the slit. Attach the number 3 bow to the sport bar corner plates using the bolts you removed. Be sure when tightening these upper bolts to make sure that the zipper is not beneath the head of the bolt. If you tighten that bolt with the zipper underneath, you will ruin the zipper. Tighten the bolts and zip the sport bar cover closed. Section 4. Install rear top arch and number 2 bow. Insert one end of the rear top arch into the slot in the middle of the rear door rail on the opposite side of the Jeep from you. Push the near end of the top arch inward while pushing up in the middle of the top arch to flex the arch so you can insert it into the slot on top of the rear door rail on your side of the Jeep. Attach number 2 bow to the number 2 bow pivot brackets on each side. Pull out on the knob to release the spring-loaded catch on the number 2 bow rear legs. Slide the slotted end of the catch over the number 2 bow pivot bracket tab protruding from the sport bar cover. Make sure that the spring catch snaps into place on each number 2 bow pivot bracket tab. Section 5. Place fabric header side bow assembly onto Jeep, attach side bow to pivot bracket. Next we're going to install the fabric and header onto the Jeep. You may want to grab a friend for this step. It makes things much easier. Next, we're going to install the side bow onto the Sunrider pivot bracket here by pulling a quick release and pushing down onto the bracket. Repeat that step on both sides of the vehicle. Section 6. Attach number 2 bow assembly to side bow. Step 1. Lift the side bow header up and locate the hole in the side bow near the header. Using this hole in the side bow, attach the number 2 bow to the side bow. Secure the number 2 bow to the side bow using 1 machine screw, 2 plastic bushings, and 1 nylon lock nut. The plastic bushings go on both sides of the flat portion of the number 2 bow leg. The nylon lock nut goes on the inboard side of the side bow. Do not over-tighten to avoid damaging the plastic bushings. Section 7. Lay top fabric over the Jeep, fold back the Sunrider. After installing the number 2 bow, grab your friend again and pull the fabric back over the top and then flip the header back into the Sunrider position. Section 8. Attach foam seals and foam tape on inside of header. With the Sunrider folded back, locate the 2 foam seals right and left. Remove the protective liner from the back side of the left foam seal and place the seal in the location as shown in the install guide. Remove the protective liner from the back side of the foam tape strips and place the strip in the location as shown in the install guide on the left side of the header. Repeat this on the right side of the header. Section 9. Attach fabric flap to number 3 bow. Attach adhesive loop strips. Attach tailgate bar mounts. From the inside of the Jeep, wrap the flap located underneath the number 3 bow under the 3 bow from the back and snap the 8 snaps on the fabric flap to the snaps on the front facing side of the number 3 bow. Attach 1 adhesive fabric loop strip to each end of the rear bow as shown. The loop strip should align with the hook strips on the underside of the fabric top. Locate the left and right tailgate bar mounts. Each bar mount snaps onto the Jeep belt rail just outboard of the tailgate opening. Snap each mount into place by hooking the inner catch portion of the mount under the belt rail on the inside of the tailgate and then rolling the mount downward until it snaps into place under the bottom edge of the outside belt rail. Section 10. Attach cable spring to number 3 bow. Attach the free end of the cable spring to the bottom hole in the number 3 bow corner plate just above the bend in the rear leg of the sport bar. Wrap the cable under the protruding shaft of the shoulder screw at the top of the rear door rail. Crimp the end of the spring where it passes through the hole in the number 3 bow corner plate to prevent it from coming loose. Repeat this on the other side. Section 11. To install the tailgate bar onto the rear curtain, you're going to slide this plastic extrusion into this channel on the aluminum tailgate bar. And you'll start at one end, like this, and just slide it all the way across. When installing the rear curtain and quarter windows on the Trektop NX, it's a good idea to install one quarter window first, then install the rear curtain by sliding the plastic extrusion on top of the rear curtain over the extrusion on the rear deck, sliding it across, and then clipping the tailgate bar into place. Start the zipper between one quarter window and the rear curtain on one side. And then move on to your second quarter window. Quarter window is installed along the top the same way as the rear curtain by sliding the two extrusions together. Now we're going to start this zipper between the quarter window and the rear window. After getting that zipper started, come around to the front of the quarter window, tuck the plastic into the channel on the front of the door rail. And tuck this extrusion into the bed rail below. On first installation, it may be pretty tight. Tuck the retainers under the corner. Locate the sewn-in straps with snaps at the bottom inside corner of each quarter window. Snap the end of each strap to the snap on the inside of each tailgate bar mount. Once both quarter windows are installed, finish the zippers. Section 14. As we flip the header forward from the Sunrider position, you'll see two holes in the top of the sport bar. And a little bit further back on the deck, two plastic hooks. Once the Sunrider is fully forward, these hooks will need to be attached to these holes in order to hold the deck up and out of the back seat when in the Sunrider position. Close the Sunrider. From the inside of the Jeep, locate the two retainer clips attached to the inside of the top fabric and clip them to the two holes in the top of the vehicle's soundbar. Section 15. Latch windshield header latches. From inside the Jeep, locate the two windshield header latches. To close the latch, pivot the latch handle to the completely open position to allow the hook to engage the windshield loop. When the hooks are engaged with the windshield loops, close each latch by pivoting it forward towards the windshield. Locate the hook and loop strips at the rear corners of the top fabric. Snug the rear corners of the top by attaching the hook and loop strips on the underside of the fabric to the strips along the top edges of the quarter window corners. Inside the Jeep, locate the two flaps over the number 2 bow. Wrap the flaps around the number 2 bow and secure the flaps together with the hook and loop strips on each flap. To operate it, all you'll do is unlatch both sides of the header and throw the top back. The top will move the fabric over your head out of the way for you so you can enjoy your open air experience. The Trektop NX converts to a full-length safari bikini by removing the 3 rear windows and can be removed completely in about 10 minutes. Thank you for watching this guide on how to install your Trektop NX. Once again, I'm Blake from Best Top, and if you have any questions or problems during install, feel free to contact customer service.